Nope, I have now.
Oh,
And now we are live. Now we
now
are
we are
live.
live. Now we can't make fun of people anymore. God damn it.
Shoot. We were doing that right behind the scenes, but now we're in front of the curtains. So,
Yeah,
Jack,
especially of
how's it
Atham.
going? Atham, I was messaging Atham just before this, and I was like, Atham, we could have you come on if you want. And he's like, well, when are you doing it? I'm like, oh, in about 20 minutes. He's like, well, I'm going to work in 20 minutes. So
Atham, just podcast from work. Who's gonna notice? Nobody.
he could get away with it because they love him over there.
Mm. He is a goddamn workhorse, though. It's like how many
Yes,
hours a week? Like 60 to 80 hours a week, and then he has his chemical engineering degree, if I'm correct. Chemical
you are
engineering, right?
correct.
Yeah. It's like, dude,
Did
damn.
Did you hear about? So we all visited Clary in South Dakota a couple months ago. It was actually in late May. Atham literally drove all night to get there from where he lived. He literally drove like something like 20 straight hours, and then Clary was like, "Yeah, let's go on a hike. Let's do this and that." Atham didn't complain. He hung in there for all of it, the entire day. It
Damn.
was amazing. I know. It's just-
Damn. Jesus Christ. I hope he doesn't get a heart attack or something.
Well, he handled the hikes pretty well, so I'm optimistic. I think he'll be our resident Mexican for a little while longer. At least I
Oh,
hope so.
thank God. I don't want to trade that in. I just don't. No, like even when we drove to Portugal, it was like because me and the guy who I went with, we switched it up, but I think it was not longer than 12 hours, and then we took a
Mhm.
break, and then we
Okay.
went on the road again, like 20 straight hours. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Oh, and Atham also did the exact same thing a few days later on the way back. Didn't stop, just went 20 hours and then went right into work. I've like never seen anything like that.
I'll sleep later. Time to drive.
Yeah, the
Dang it.
dude can go days without sleep. So, Atham, this beer I'm about to open, even though it's about 6 a.m. where Jack is, this beer
8?
I'm about. Is it 8?
Yeah, it's 8 a.m.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you said it 2 hours later than I thought. I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna complain. It's like,
Yeah, no, this actually worked out for me because for those that don't know, I'm visiting my parents on the West Coast, and Jack, I normally do this show about 7 hours earlier than than now. But I mean, we were out doing stuff and I was hanging out with them. I was getting dinner, so I'm just like, well, I think the only way I'm gonna do this is if it's late night. So it actually worked pretty well for me.
nice, nice.
Mhm.
I
But
mean,
what's
it's always nice when things just fall together, kind of like that. Where it's like, normally I do the show as this. I do want to have a guest. Hey, wait a minute, I've got shit to do. The guest's got shit to do, so works out perfectly.
It does. I was like, I think I'm making Jack get up at like 3 or 4 in the morning here, but this isn't too bad.
No, 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 no. And the stupid thing was, I already slept at 7:30 or something, or 8
Mhm.
p.m. By the way, if you're
Wow.
wondering, that is my coffee machine in the background.
Uh,
That thing. If it's too disturbing, just tell me and I'll mute myself for a moment.
as
But
long as I see a Troof mug, I think I'll get over it.
you will.
There we go. Okay.
I also have
Now,
this one. This
let's
one.
see that one. I support it. Nice. I feel that way all the time.
Yeah, same here. I wanted to bring that to the office when I still worked in one, but
Yeah.
nah.
Yeah.
Would have been. It was better if I did not, kind of thing. No, but
Yeah.
I woke up at like 8 past midnight, which was perfect actually because Lego released their 90th anniversary castle on the
Yeah.
3rd of August for us.
Sweet.
And funnily enough, like Watson had sent me a text and I hadn't responded yet. So I responded to him like in the middle of the night. And all of us, like normally this guy just sleeps. And he responded back to me. He's like, "You up for the castle as well?" I'm like, "Yeah." But for
Nice.
me, it wasn't even planned. Like for me,
Yeah.
it just was convenient. So
Is that something that would sell out quickly, so you kind of had to like get on it?
I don't know. It's a pretty expensive set, but
Mm.
it has that collector's vibe to it. So
Mhm.
nah, could have gone both ways. Like
Yeah.
it is a very select thing. Like the Lego Star Wars shit, that just sells out in an instant because there's such a large demographic who wants that. But
Yeah.
this was more of an homage to like the 80s and 90s Castle series. So it's more of a niche group.
Uh-huh.
But I got it, so who cares if somebody
Nice.
doesn't?
Well, I gotta tell you, dude, so I've got a 4.5-year-old nephew here, and, so I've been here a few days, and over the weekend, I was over at my sister and brother-in-law's, and I was hanging out with them. Like, man, Legos are really freaking I forgot how much fun it is to do all that stuff because he's just getting into Legos now, and man, it's so fun. I can see the appeal.
Well, it is. And in all honesty, I did sell a lot of ships. I am now in negotiations of getting one back. The first one
Yeah?
I ever had, actually. But I wanted it in box and everything because I want to rebuild that with my dad. Like it was the first set I ever got for my third or fourth birthday, and I got
Mhm.
it from him. Now the original, I still had that, but like the sales were getting a bit rough and whatever, and it just took up so much space. So I sold that. But that was one of those things where I was like, should I have really sold that? Because I wanted to make an investment, which I did, and
Mhm.
now like the personal training business is going well. I still got
Yeah.
the side thing with the factory, and I'm kind of like, you know what would be cool if I can get that set back in original box and everything, just sealed,
Hell yeah.
and I'll just set it in front of my dad, like
That'd be
happy
sweet.
whatever. It's like, but he remembered it as well because I asked him like, this was the first one you ever gave me, right? Because I remember some sort of island as well. He's like, no, it's the ship. I remember that well. It's like, oh yeah. And the funny thing was, he built it back then.
Really?
And we had this, yeah, because I was like 3 or 4, and it's
Oh,
like,
you
oh,
had to. Yeah.
instructions, we. But we had this giant white closet, like whatever you want to call it, with all the dish, the fine dinery in it, sort of say, and it was on top of it. I
Yeah?
remember this vehemently. It was on top of the thing, and I could never reach it. And I remember asking my mother, like, "Can I play with it?" She's like, "No, not until your dad comes back." And the reason
Mm.
behind that was you're too young. You're 4 years old. You're gonna break it. You're gonna tear it apart and never rebuild it. But then there was one day where I finally figured out how I could get on top of the closet and grab the ship. And my father was 100% right. Because as soon as I got my grubby little hands on it, I started tearing it apart and building other things from it. And he was just like, God damn it.
That's
And
awesome.
of course, like years later, I did rebuild it. But still, he was 100% right.
And what was the name of the ship again?
Um, from the top of my head, I believe it was number 6072, Imperial flagship. But
72.
Lego released a like years later, they released a set which is also called the Imperial flagship, and that thing is just huge. That is one of the biggest ships they've ever released. I had that, but in all honesty, I think it's just boring. It's a very
Yeah,
boring set.
I just pulled it up here. Okay, so this must yeah, you're the one I'm seeing must be the recent one where they like, the big one that you're saying is boring. I think that's the one I'm
Yeah.
seeing here.
With
Okay.
the striped sails. The one that I'm talking
Yeah.
about has 2 cannons and a crown on it.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the newer one. I'll see if I can find the older one. No, that's pretty cool.
Like
Um,
the newer one is just a bit boring, where it's like, yes, it's big, but there's nothing going on, kind of
does look
thing.
kinda ordinary, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like,
that's
oh, okay, it's big, but like when you had the older 90 sets, there were all kinds of things going on. And you had these trap doors, and when you
yeah.
shoved a piece aside, something sprang from the ship and things like that. But the large one is just like, oh, we have this giant Lego ship, and you can display it to all your friends. It's like, nah, that's boring. Like I want my friends to like have itchy fingers because they want to play with it and feel nostalgic.
Mm.
That's way more fun. Here we are, over 30, speaking about Lego shit, by the way. It's like,
Some of us are over 40.
I wouldn't give you older than 35.
Oh, I'll take it, man. I appreciate that. I was feeling old today. So I'm lifting these days, as I've told you about it.
Mm-hmm.
Went and my ne- this was just on Sunday. My nephew, he's just running around. He's full of energy and everything. The guy, he basically got on top of a chair, jumped, and landed on my ring finger. So it like got bent backwards and it's really bruised. Yeah, it was bad stuff. And so I went to the gym today because it was a lifting day, and I'm doing, the what do you call it? The back
Lat pull downs.
lat pull. Yeah, and my finger was hurting so much, I kind of had to stop. Yeah, so dude, I'm starting to feel my age more and more.
I mean, you can always like lift the finger. That's what I do because you're training your back, not your fingers, and then you kind of
Mhm.
have to. I even had clients once where they broke their toe and they're like, I can't go to the gym. I'm like, is your toe on your shoulders or chest or hands? What do you mean I can't go to the gym? Your toe isn't on your muscles, it's on your foot. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, you're right.
this did not stop me doing my curls or anything like that. So it was still a pretty good session. But yeah, people look for excuses all the time, man.
Yeah. But it's an injury. It's like, yeah, but you have to look at the place of the injury. It's like, but
Nice.
oh well.
What's up to you, Atham? Atham, you should listen to the first 5 minutes of this show. We were like singing your praises. Um,
Mhm.
what are you up to today, Jack? You just chilling or?
Today I'm off actually. Podcast
Mhm.
with you. Got how many? Two more sets of shoulder press, and then I'm done with that.
Saw your new
Uh,
setup there.
oh, I love it. I love it.
It's some
Look
pretty
at
good
that.
stuff. That's pretty cool.
Look at that rack.
How long did it
But
take you to put together? Because I saw the fast forwarded. Yeah.
um, how long was it? I believe it was within an hour. I
Oh,
think.
that's not bad at all.
An hour and a half maybe, because I kind of had to like figure out the instructions because they weren't
Mhm.
that clear because you had different bolts and things like that. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, but this bolt belongs there. It's like they all look the same. God damn it. And then apparently, as you can see, like you have that brand on the left,
Yeah.
that ATX thing. Apparently, one of those poles has that as well, and they need to be in the front. And I'm kind of like, the only thing different is the brand, so I don't care. So
Yeah, exactly.
piss off. Was already put together, and then I noticed that I'm like, yeah, you're not going to be torn apart. That is,
Screw it. Nope.
mhm,
Mm-mm. Mm.
that is not going to happen. So when are you going to train with me? Take the step.
Alex Patino, uh, he comes on to my show a lot, and and he's always singing your praises. I think maybe just to plug you a little bit, I've heard nothing but glowing reviews about what you do as far as getting people to kind of whipping them in the shape and holding them accountable, which is amazing.
Well, the beauty of it is, I don't actually. Well, I knew you were being facetious, but the thing is, I tend to stray away a lot from like whipping them into shit because what I
Hmm.
want is that they do this long term. And a lot of things when they say, "Oh, I want to get jacked," and blah blah blah, and then it's like, okay, and after that, what then? And they have no idea because, well, it's kind of like women in their wedding dress. Like I fit in my wedding dress, and then the day afterwards, they stuff their face full with cake.
Yep.
So what I do with most of my clients is I create habits. The
Hmm.
gym and then the diet and things like that, they become habitual. Like, what's the best diet? The one that you can follow.
Right.
And within that, of course, there are certain restrictions, but not a whole lot if you do it right. And the same thing with the gym. Like you don't need more than squat, bench, deadlift, shoulder press, pull-ups, and dips. You really don't. But the trick is how many times does the client know they can go to the gym? You don't have
Right.
to like go beyond that. The only thing you need to take into consideration is that the progress they want will take a bit longer because they're not going as often as you would like advise them to go. Now, of course, I can always advise them, but you have to take into consideration that you're dealing with a human being.
Right.
And the trick is to get them going as much as they can and find enjoyable so that it is sustainable.
Yes.
And that is my approach to all of this. It's like, what is sustainable to them? Even in my own convictions, I have to adapt every now and then because, like I said, squat, bench, deadlift, shoulder press, dips, pull-ups, that's kind of it. But some people are kind of like, yeah, I know you're like, you variate between sets and reps, but I do kind of want to do different exercises as well. Then I'm like, well, what would you prefer? And then they're like, well, I kind of like the machines and blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? Then we'll just take one squat session or one shoulder press session out there and we'll go to the machines. And then for them, it becomes more enjoyable, therefore more sustainable, and then they can keep the results they're working towards.
Right. I think that's really smart. You're creating more of a system instead of just, well, we want to lose X amount of weight or gain this amount of muscle in X amount of time. It's like you said, people will just, once they meet a goal, they'll just forget about it and then go back to what they were doing before. So I think that's the
Yeah.
smart approach.
That's not what you want with people. I mean, some people want that, and then I'll just say I'm not your guy. Like, tough luck, not going to happen. Keep your money.
Well, your guy wanted you to know that he's down 10 pounds and he specifically wanted you to know about it. So
Good at them. You'll get there. But yeah, Alex Patino is in my group as well, and he was a challenge. And I kind of looked up to it where it's like, oh, can I do this? Can I do this? But I took up the challenge because he's a truck driver.
Yes.
And there is no way in hell you can let a truck driver count his calories. That is just not going to work.
Too hard.
Because, well, it's not necessarily too hard. It's too, it is too hard and too complicated because you can't scan the foods. You don't have a caloric idea of what it is, whatever. So what we had to do there is get the choices of food right. What is more satiating, and what are like the sneaky fucks that will get? Can I swear, by the way?
Oh, absolutely.
What
I'm
are
not
the
worried
sneaky...
about monetization?
Oh god, no! You get plenty of super chats. It's like, holy shit, man! I've been doing this for 2 to 3 years, and I don't even get that many super chats. I did get a what?
I saw you got a 99.
I got
that was
what?
amazing.
Like, that felt great.
Clary's, I was on your side with that one because when Clary's reaction, he always has the same reaction. He's like, why don't people do that on his screen? So I was like, yeah.
He can't complain. He had a couple of $100 super chats.
He's gotten them. I've seen them.
Yeah. But so with Alex, we had to look at what are the smaller, non-noticeable things that will get you over your caloric goal. So sauces, dressing, non-light sodas, things like that. So there he is, Alex.
There's the man. I'll read that super chat again later, Alex.
So I asked him, what foods do you prefer? And do you have the ability or the availability that when you order, you can just do them with no dressing, no sauces, whatever, and kind of get the order specialized? And he was able to do that. And he's already, to my knowledge, a couple of pounds down. Don't know the exact number, but we have seen weekly progress in his weight loss.
Nice.
Gave him a schedule where, because he is, what's the word I'm looking for? This is where the language barrier comes in. It's like, now I'm having a brain fart. Yeah, people might not know, but I'm actually Dutch. English is not my first language. But he was kind of stuck to, I don't even know.
No, I mean this. It's really impressive, I think, because English is so hard to learn that it's like...
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I speak English and it comes out like this. I have fooled so many people. I have fooled actual Brits with this. Where it's like, really? You're on my time, right? It's like, no, I'm actually I'm 1 hour ahead of you. It's like, huh?
If you're recording audiobooks for an asshole in English, that's really impressive, I think.
I am not gonna lie, that is one of my biggest achievements. Not the biggest, because I don't want to fluff him that much. But
no.
Just some Dutch guy with a microphone narrating books from one of his favorite authors. That is just like, that had to sink in a bit. When I saw my name on the Amazon webpage as his narrator, it's kind of like, God damn. Yes. Yes.
We
It's
got
like
to
I
get you
did
to the
that.
U.S. You got to meet all these dudes, and I hear
I'm
that may
gonna.
happen.
I'm flying next week.
Yes, I was gonna see if you were up for talking about that later, but go ahead.
Yeah, Philadelphia. I'm flying the 10th, and I will be arriving the 10th. It's like fucking time travel. So weird. And I'm gonna meet up Rob and Vince in
Vince, yeah,
Philadelphia.
that's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
This will be
I
your
want to
first
see.
time in the
Yeah,
country?
first
Oh,
time
that's
in the
so
U.S.
cool.
I want to run the Rocky stairs. I just have to. I want to see. I want to see Rocky statue, man.
Rare. I'm kinda jealous. I haven't met those guys yet. That'd be fun.
You haven't?
Not yet. I've Clary and Atham and Bacon I've met. Or no, I almost met Bacon, but we'll get there, Bacon. Met a few of the different guys, but no, you're gonna get to meet Rare, and I'm jealous about that. So
Yeah, I'm
good for
looking
you.
forward to that. Like we've been podcasting together for almost 200 episodes now.
Yeah,
We just crossed 150. So I don't know, like that is every
that's
week. That's
amazing.
almost 3 years. Almost 3 years together.
Crazy.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that.
That is super.
And plenty of food. Like Rob promised me he wanted to get me fat, and I'm like, you're not gonna. I spent 6 weeks in Portugal, and even then I came back, and I was kind of like, yeah, not much has changed. So he underestimates the amount I can actually eat.
Well, I will say, Jack, the portion sizes here compared to Europe are just like crazy big.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, even in Europe, I hate going out to eat because
Yeah,
it's just too small.
yeah, and expensive, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, like my dad always such a boomer. He likes to go out to eat, and I just go like I don't usually I don't go with where it's like no, I'm sorry. I'm like first of all I'm going to be bored and I'm going to be hungry afterwards, and
Mhm,
you're going to be a mortgage lighter because of how expensive it is. It's like no.
mhm.
If we're going to go out to eat, we're going to go to all you can eat, which is what I did for my birthday, just all you can eat spare ribs.
Nice.
And like all of my friends, all three of them, got to like 1.5 plate with so one plate had one, two, three of like these big racks of spare ribs.
Mhm.
And all of my friends don't got more than 1.5 plate. I had 3.
Wow.
It's like, yeah. And I even after that, I was kind of like, I'm still hungry, god damn it. So
Jeez.
yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe a fast metabolism or whatever. I have no idea, really.
It's gotta
So,
be that. You're so swole that the muscles are like, "We need protein. We need the meat."
no, don't worry about that. There's also like I only do one meal a day, so
Hmm?
my portion sizes can be huge.
So
Yeah,
you do
weirdly enough,
fasting?
yeah, I do fasting and things like that. But weirdly enough, even though like I love food, I don't like eating that much. It's like I just want one big portion and be done with it.
Mhm, yeah.
It's like good, done. And other people are like, "Oh, I need to eat 3 times a day." Blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
Nah.
yeah, goddamn idiot, pussy. Fuck off.
No, dude, I agree. I mean, I'm trying to bulk up, of course. I've been trying for years, but I mean, even I between the and this is unintentional. I only really like to eat between the hours of like noon and 8 p.m. Like I'm not trying to do that. That's just kind of the way I like to do it.
I might know a trainer who can help you with that. Just because
Alex,
I've had clients like you before who are like, I have trouble gaining weight. Oh, is that so? Do you? Bet you don't.
I need to display this comment because I have a couple quick stories. Atham can put away food. I mean, I know, Jack, you were saying you can put away food. Atham, so me, Clary, and Atham, about 2 years ago, we went on a 17-mile hike. This was out in Zion in southern Utah. I shit you not. Atham, how many? You had 3 dinners and 2 desserts immediately after that. I mean, it was easily like 5,000 calories. And Atham like did the hike perfectly, and he just put it away in like record time. I was like, God damn. So
Nice.
the dude can, this dude can eat. Yeah.
Now that sounds like a challenger. That sounds
Jeez.
like something.
You know what? It's
I'm like Philadelphia is just gonna be me, Rob, and Vince. Like,
okay.
it's like I don't feel like. And I told Vince and Rob the same thing. It's like, guys, I'm coming for you. It's like, no, I don't want the whole hang up thing and whatever. I
Hmm.
come there for peace.
Yeah, that's exciting, dude. I mean, you guys are gonna. I'll bet you, Vince. I'm sure Vince knows some places around there. He'll take you out, and you'll have an awesome time.
Dude, Vince took care of everything. Like,
Yeah.
all right, Jack, I hear you want to go to the Philly. We have a bed and breakfast there. Got everything covered. When are you coming?
Nice.
It's like, damn. Like everything was just covered by Vince. Man with a plan. Seriously. It's like, I don't. The only thing I had to do was fly there.
Hmm.
The only thing I have to do. He's got everything covered for the rest of it. I believe he even got a cab for when I arrive. I'm not sure about that one. Or his plan is to get that. Not 100% sure on it, but even if he didn't, the rest is just fixed.
Much respect, Vince. That's how you treat a guest. So will you be here just a few days, or for a week, or a
Yeah, a few days. It's going to
few
be
days?
Wednesday to Sunday.
Okay. Do you think
Wednesday
you
to
and
Sunday.
Rare will do a red? Well, now you probably have better things to do on a Friday night if you're going to be in Philly. I was going to ask if you were going to do a red evening in person, but you should probably be enjoying your trip instead of doing that.
Well, exactly. I have thought about it, but the ones that there are like two things. How many occasions do we get when Rob and I meet and we don't have to
Fair.
worry about online? But
Exactly.
also, how many opportunities do we get to do a red evening in person? So it's kind of in dubio. I'll talk to it. I'll talk to Rob about it, and we'll
Hmm.
see. I could go either way. If Rob
Okay.
is like, you know what, let's do it, I'm up for it. If Rob is like, let's not, I'll fully understand.
I gotta say, personally, I kind of hope you guys don't do it. I want y'all to just go out there, have a great time, and yeah, have stories for the next show when you're back. That would
And
be my vote. But
this is why I hate Instagram so much. It's like because even when in Portugal, and there's a couple of things I want to mention here, and I have to choose my words carefully where I want to begin. Okay, let's begin here. This is why I liked Clary's book so much. Because Clary right now is known for his rants and the shitting on the women and things like that. But the reason why I got into his stuff so much is mostly his economics and his philosophy about it. Where it's
Mhm.
like the things you actually just want to be a big kid, is what he said. Maybe I'm paraphrasing here, but in Bachelor Pad Economics, like the eventual goal is remember when you were 4 and you didn't have trouble anything and you could just watch Saturday morning cartoons without a worry in the world.
Yes.
That's where you want to get. You want to have your finances on lock. You want to have your life in order in such a manner you can actually enjoy those Saturday morning cartoons again. Just be a big kid. And
Yes.
that's where the whole Lego thing comes from. It's like that is my enjoyment. That is my peace moment. Somebody asked me a while back, like, why don't you do the live streams building one of those sets? I'm like, because then it would
Yeah.
be work.
Yeah, that's work. Don't combine your hobbies with work. I know some people say you should. I disagree. I think you should keep that separate.
Yeah. Like with lifting, it was possible because lifting is like a such a sought after thing. The
Mhm.
knowledge from it because the waters have been poisoned. Like we think the manosphere is bad, the fitness industry is way worse. It
Really?
really is. Yeah, with all the bullshit going on, because health, wealth, and sex are those 3 most marketable things because people are insecure about them.
Mhm.
So when you have a sales pitch that um like feeds on that insecurity of somebody who doesn't have the body they want, you can make shit tons of money.
Mhm.
And the audacity some of these marketers have is just insane. And the products they sell, it's like, really, that will help people lose weight, like fat burning pills and blah blah blah. Yeah, but you forget to mention that they still eat like crap, and that
Yeah.
pills won't help. Like my dad a while back, the man really needs to lose weight, and yeah, I was needed something, and I found what was it, carb blockers,
Carb blocker.
carbohydrate blockers. The man still eats bread and pasta. I just threw that shit at him. Like, what the hell are you thinking? That's not how this works. Yet he was still able to buy them. Like carb blockers. The only way you block carbs is not putting them in your fucking mouth.
Right. Everybody wants a shortcut.
Everybody wants to shortcut. Like, here is some asshole thinking, hey, you know what? People want the body they want, but they don't want to put in the work. Let me think. What's a nice shortcut that I can give to these people that give me money? That's just fucking disgusting. And we have that in look. Can I deny it's smart? No, it's actually pretty brilliant. I'll give the devil his due, so to say, because people are inherently lazy and they don't want to put in the work and blah 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 blah. Unless you're my client, I mean, then you want to put in the work, and I have the most awesome clients in the world.
Yes, you do.
I do. But I do think it's utterly disgusting that people make use of that. But can you prevent it? It's like Machiavelli. Like, people who are good will suffer amongst people who are not good.
Right.
And that's what you see in marketing, with fitness, with like the top six figs, the pickup artistry, the top six, the 6 fig gurus. Like,
yeah,
I grew up in poverty, but I can teach you how to make money. No, you make money by teaching people how to make money. It's like, piss off.
Right.
It's not how you do it. Like, I've met a couple of real wealthy people, and I mean like actual never need to work again wealthy people.
Mm-hmm.
You would never notice.
Well, they're probably not flaunting it. They're
not flaunting it, and that's how they gain their wealth. That is one of the things like I loved about Cappy's work as well, where it's that whole minimalism perspective, and that you go for other people. And that's what I'm noticing right now as well. Even though I have my own business and it is going well, you have so much time on your hands at a certain point. You want to share it with other people. But other people are at work. It's like, shit.
I'll give Clary that. He was one of the ones, at least that I first heard, who said, you know, the most important thing in every life is other people, you know, rather than things, or, you know, so I'll give him that, because that gave me a lot of food for thought. And that's why I'm always traveling when I can to see my nephew, family, and everything like now. So I think that's true. And that's why I think it's awesome that you're going to be in the country next week, because it's been a long time. You guys have to hang out.
But the same thing in Portugal. I was there for 6 weeks. And at a certain point, my friend who I was with had his girlfriend over, blah, 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 blah. All fine and dandy. Of course, they want to spend time together. But at a certain point, I was alone for the majority of the time. Now, there were times where I did like isolate myself a bit, where I was just like, I don't feel like this at all. Goddamn garbage truck. But I did realize, like, even though the sight was beautiful and you could see the sun coming up from over the mountains, blah, 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 it kind of did nothing for me because I was all alone.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have, like, people next to me. And as soon as, like, his girlfriend left and we were, like, together, those are the moments which were actually worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, right now, I have all the time in the world, and I could go wherever place, but it would be, kind of like, okay, I'm here, yay. Like, I've always wanted to see Disneyland or Legoland or whatever, because as a child, you're always like, oh, that sounds amazing. I know it's going to be overpriced as fuck, and I'm probably not going to eat there. Like, the entry ticket alone will set me back. I don't know how much. I don't even want to know. But going alone, it will be like, Like after an hour, you've seen everything. Like,
It's
boring.
like that old I'm not a Dave Matthews fan. I actually met him one time and that's a whole other story. But he has this lyric that's like it's not where but who you with that matters. And that's just really true. Because I was in Hawaii a few weeks ago and I'd been to Hawaii before, but I'd been by myself. And then the second time it was with bad company, but I was actually with my current girlfriend this time. It made it so much better. Because,
Mhm.
yeah, it was beautiful scenery, but it's so much better when you've got someone there to share it all with.
Yeah.
So
No,
I
I mean
wholeheartedly
absolutely.
agree.
But it
Yeah,
can be the most mundane things, like eating pizza together. Even though you're just sitting next to each other or whatever, it's just
sure.
the company you have there. It's like
Exactly.
that's what matters. Like in all seriousness, I don't need to talk to you when I'm eating. It's just no. Like I'm there to eat. But if there's somebody there, I don't mind. That's just fun. Could you give me one moment? I need to close that
Sure.
window.
Yeah, sure. Man, we got a good crew here tonight. I for anyone joining late, I'm on the West Coast of the US right now, so I was just kinda like, I don't think I can do a show at my regular time, but I'd wanted to get Jack on here, and of course, with the time difference, it kinda worked out. Bad Company, Torgo, that was Cuddle Books, and Atham, you're absolutely correct. Like, we had an amazing time.
It's not even a garbage truck, by the way. They're watering the plants that are in front of my house. The township is now like watering the plants. It's
Your
like
tax
really.
your tax money, and, for in a little bit, we'll have a quick side thing. I did wanna, because it's an accounting show, I wanna talk to you about Dutch taxes. We won't keep it too long, but, that's your tax dollars at work, Jack, and you pay them. You
I
pay
was
them.
already craving nicotine, Chad. You're not making it better.
Well, we'll avoid that. Um,
Ah.
well, this is I guess what I'm about to ask is more of a red evening question, so you don't have to talk about it, but do you have anything going on this week with the ladies, or is it more like a low-key type week?
um, I've got a couple on the back burner. Like I'm
Mhm.
texting a couple right now, which is always nice.
Mhm.
Um, I have one coming over next Monday. I might have a date on Saturday, which would be cool. And there was one girl, like she seemed kind of hot and heavy, but she's boring. Like
Yeah.
great body. Like for me, 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah, but boring.
No personality?
Eh. It's like, and all of a sudden, okay, Cappy's gonna hate me for this, and you probably too. But hear me out on this one. At a certain point, she's like, "Oh well, I had to go to therapy and blah blah." Blah. I'm like, "Okay, what's up?" Yeah, I have BPD and this and that. I'm like, "Oh, hello, that's interesting. Tell me more." I mean, because like I can deal with that shit.
I
In
can't.
all, I know. Like in all honesty, in and people are not gonna like me saying this, but I think a majority of the cases where guys put in their field reports like, "Oh, she has BPD," it's not that she has BPD; it's that you're not experienced. Looking back on all my exes, because I've had a couple who were batshit insane. It's not that they were like evil or whatever, evil women. It's more like, no, I just didn't have the tools to work with it. I had an
Mm.
ex who ran a knife through my favorite band shirt at a time,
Ooh.
and I was stupid enough to stay. It's not that she was insane, I was a pussy. Now, I'm not saying that she is all saintly or whatever. Absolutely not. I mean, it is pretty batshit insane, but
That's pretty crazy.
I let it happen. Like there were warning signs way ahead. I could have dealt with certain things way better, but after that, I wasn't even smart enough to leave. So, yeah. So every time a chick now is like, "Oh, I've got BPD or whatever," I'm kind of like, "Yeah, whatever. Everybody in the world has something." But this one's just boring. It's like, you have to pull teeth or whatever. I'm like, okay, good.
Mhm.
You're a bit crazy. I'm bored. Let's go. It's like, nope. It's like, come
Yeah,
on.
that's probably gonna be a short-term thing because if you're getting bored with somebody, whether they're crazy or not, that's just I mean, at some point, you gotta be one-on-one with them and not having sex, so it's like
Yeah, I mean, I have an ex who was actually diagnosed with BPD as well. She told me later. I'm like, really? You have BPD? Not seeing it. No, because like at a certain point, you just know how to deal with certain stuff. You just don't take shit.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, once you don't take shit, it isn't all like evil or maniacal or whatever. They're just girls. They're gonna do girl stuff.
Mhm.
And she told me that, like, yeah, apparently I have BPD. I'm like, I never noticed. I really never know. Like some certain weird behaviors every now and then, and I was like, "You're gonna act normal now? You're not? Okay, bye." Like there was one instant where I just blocked her on WhatsApp just for the shits and giggles.
Yeah?
Yeah, she did something I didn't like, and I was like, whatever, block. Like my phone wouldn't stop ringing at all. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put this. How long can I maintain this? For an hour or so. Just let the phone go off. All of a sudden, I picked up, like, hello, honey. She's like, I'm like, what's wrong? It's like, well, are you angry with me? I'm like, I'm not angry with you. Why should I be angry with you? I have no idea. It's like flipping the script. Like, you think you're crazy? Oh, no. No, 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 no. I will out crazy you every day of the week. But I mean, again, maybe I'm not mentally healthy. Who knows? I thrive on that shit. It's like, oh, finally, something to do.
I mean, you know what, man? If you can, as they say, keep frame and handle all that, like you have my respect because you've heard. I don't know when I have this ex named Cuddlewooks that met Clary one time, and they became mortal enemies. And she literally called the cops on me when I was like, you know, leaving the apartment. I moved in with her, and I was leaving, and she like tried to pretend like it was a domestic violence situation.
Yeah, that's
Except
that.
well, Clary and I so Clary had a friend who is a Chicago policeman, and he had me contact him in advance. He's like, "You need to get Vince there before she does that." And sure enough, she tried to do it. So yeah, that's why I may not be strong enough to handle BPD because I
Mhm,
can't go through that again. Oof.
mhm. No, I can imagine, and that is something absolutely I would not recommend. By the way, I am
Mhm.
not sitting here saying, "Oh, you know what? You just need to man up and frame up." No, 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 no. You don't. You absolutely don't. I mean, Rob and I had this conversation, and Rob and I always say red flags are a green light.
Mhm.
That does not hold up for everybody. Like some, like for some guys, you want to run. You know, certain things you
Yeah.
just want to run. But I like my dating nowadays is all short term. Like
Mhm.
I would like a long term thing. However, I would like a long term thing when all standards are met. Now, I'm not going to lie, 9 times out of 10 these days, they are not met. However, I'm not going to pass up an opportunity. Yeah, I'm going to be very blunt about that. Like, don't care, got laid.
Exactly. As Rob doesn't Rare always say, "Don't step
Yeah,
on your dick" or something like that? Or
that's an old Mary Red Pill phrase, I believe. Like, don't
oh, is
step
it?
on your own. Yeah, don't step on your own dick. Like,
Yeah.
usually, like 9 times out of 10, you just have to be there and not
Mhm.
step on your own dick. Just shut the fuck up. Let it happen.
I don't wanna give you guys big egos. I don't know if Rare will watch this, but I mean, back when in the last couple of years, really since you've been doing the show, I've gotten some really good dating wisdom from you guys. It's like a healthy combo of your confidence and telling what you do, and then Rare's like laid back, "Hey, I just take it as it comes. If she doesn't wanna get laid with me, that's cool. Maybe we'll get together the following weekend. It's all good for me."
Mhm. Yeah, I need to take a page from Rob's book because I do have that "we're dying here"
Yeah?
attitude. Yeah, where it's like, oh, I don't know, this week and next week I'm full, and maybe after that I'm kind of like, done. Never mind. Next. I want like I want the prospects who are enthusiastic about it. Like, holy shit, I can get a date with this guy. I can do in 4 days. Like, 4 days it is. But
Genuine
that whole
desire.
well, is it genuine desire? I don't know. I just see it as enthusiastic and
Mhm.
available. Maybe it really is like I'm not available for the next 2 weeks. Well, you know what? Hit me up in 2 weeks. Bye.
Sure.
Like now I'm dealing with somebody else who can meet me in the first 4 days. Or
Right.
maybe
Yeah.
even the same day. I've had that. But yeah, it's kind of like I don't want time wasters or whatever
Mhm.
because I've experienced it so often that a girl yeah, that a girl just wants to get laid, to put it bluntly, that every time a girl now is kind of like, oh, I don't know about this week, maybe the next, I'm already turned off. It's like, nah, you don't want it. You don't want it enough. Next.
Yeah, I mean, that's how from what I understand, that's how a lot of women using the dating apps treat things. They kind of just are like, all right, on to the next one. So I think it's perfectly fine that guys do the same thing, you know?
Yeah, as we should. I mean, that
Absolutely.
isn't that maybe a bit that whole frame thing? Like, frame is one of those hard to explain phenomenons, but it's
Mhm.
just using female nature against them. I mean, Royce used to have a quote where
Oh,
he said
Roycey.
35-year-old men treat women like 23-year-old women treat men.
Hmm. 35-year-old men treat women the way 23-year-old treat men. Yeah. I,
See what he
I hadn't
means?
heard that. Yeah, yeah, I hadn't heard that one before. Man,
Like
Roycey, that takes me back.
like at a certain point, you just have enough experience and abundance. And I'm not going to sit here telling you the abstract number of notch count you need to have before you get there. I know guys who have a notch count of 2. They're very happily married. They've got their shit in order.
Mhm.
For some, it takes 2. I know guys who say they have a near 200 notch count and they still don't know shit. So, yeah, it's all in between. Roosh went on record saying it gets boring after 25. My friend Watson is over 30, and he also says it got boring at 21. The only reason he had 30 is because he wanted the 30 by 30 thing. Uh, so, yeah, like notch count doesn't matter. What matters is your perspective at whatever number you have. Like if you still drool over whatever attention you get from women, you kind of want to bump it up.
Yeah.
But if you already have the whole like, yeah, take it or leave it, then that is probably enough for you.
That's where both you and Rob are pretty incredible, I think. Y'all are just like, "Hey, if it works out, great." Now, you were saying you're a little bit more, we'll just say, I don't wanna say impatient, but you're more like, Johnny on the spot with it, but
Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with that either. So that's, and then I watched your show recently where Rare tried to go on 1 date per night or something like
Oh
that.
yeah.
Like,
Oh
it sounds
Christ on a horse.
exhausting. Yeah.
Oh, like you want to get to the point where a nap is more exciting than a date.
He hoped the woman would cancel because he was tired, and that just made the universe flip that around.
That is exactly where you want to get. Like, what's the
Yeah,
end
right?
goal? Where a nap is more exciting than a date. That's just where you want. That's kind of where my impatience comes in. Where it's like, honey, I want to know if I can take a nap or not. Like, andale, we're dying here. I have other shit. I need to play the DLC of Cuphead. Mario Kart just released 8 new tracks. I want to know if I can play or not. It's like, come on.
Exactly. It's
Like,
that
ah,
desperation. I remember I was never like I never studied game all that well, in all honesty, or
mm,
PUA and all that. But I do, one thing that stuck with me was if you eliminate the desperation, geez, the world is your oyster because you're cool with whatever happens.
yeah. It is. Like I said, like a nap or Mario Kart or building a Lego castle. If that is more exciting than dating, you're there, my friend. You are there.
Jack, I like bad European football teams, including some Dutch ones. So hey, if I'm in a relationship now, but if some girl flaked on me, it means I can catch up on some of that. So
Exactly. And my humble apologies, Chad, because I've been rambling on and off again.
oh no,
How
that's
is your girlfriend? How is she? How did that come about? Because I'm genuinely happy for you. I saw the photos. I'm like, damn, this looks nice. That looks like a genuine happy couple.
the thing is, I'm a little bit embarrassed. I'll tell everybody, and I'm embarrassed to say it, but at the same time, it's still a little bit flattering and humbling. I met her through Clary. She was a fan of his work, and she had asked him some questions. He does his asshole consulting things, and she had a bad,
Consulting? Never heard of it.
yeah, exactly. um, and she'd had some bad experiences, and she sent Clary a photo. This was what are we in, July? So this is about a year and 3 months ago. And Clary's like, oh well, you should talk to my buddy Chad instead. And so she and I started FaceTiming, and we really hit it off. And then about this time a year ago, I went down there because we don't live in the same city right now, unfortunately. But I'm trying to get out of where I live. Chicago's pretty dangerous. Like if you're coming to the US, I don't think you should go to Chicago.
Isn't Chicago the city with Beetlejuice as its mayor?
Yes,
Ah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
It's
Even
like
if she's made it to Europe. Wow. As a
it's like
joke.
every time I see her, I'm kind of like, how do you function and why?
She's become a national joke, man. Like anytime I tell, even here today, I was with my mom. We stopped by, they have this little dog, so we went to the dog groomer. She's like, "Oh, this is my son," and I said, "They're like, where do you live?" I live in Chicago. They go, "Oh, that the one with the mayor?" I'm like, "Yep, that's Mayor Beetlejuice." So it's really funny to me that even in Europe they, yeah. Um, but anyway, long story short, yeah. So I am probably gonna relocate out of Chicago, maybe go down because she lives in a much friendlier state, Texas in a lot of ways. So I'm probably gonna head down there. But yeah, it's going really well. She's gonna come up to Chicago to see me in a couple weeks, and yeah, I have no complaints. I'm very happy, and it kills me to say it, but I kind of owe Clary for that because his ego is already big enough.
If it ever is to happen that I find my life partner thanks to Clary, I don't know what I'll do. I don't know. But
I don't think
Clary
you
won't be able to find her. I have serious high standards, and not
I
even body wise. I will trade in on body if certain things are met. I will be very honest about that. Like the body we can fix. We have the technology.
I Jack, you're not gonna need any help. Like I ran into so first of all, Clary had met one of my crazy exes, like I was saying, and they did not get along. They were instant enemies.
I I still want to like if there's one thing I want to read of Cappy's archives, it is that email. I want to read that email. Like the pure state of rage and anger that is supposed to be in there. I want to read it.
You know
I
what,
want to
Jack?
narrate it.
I'm gonna do you a solid. I don't know if I have your email address, but I'm gonna send it to you after
You
this.
have it?
I have all of this. I kept it, man. This is there's a few of them exchanges that those two had that were
And of course, I'm not going to share it. But ever since he told his audience about that, I'm like, what was in that email? What was in it? Here, I send you my email address.
Yeah, put it in the private chat. Yeah, I'll send it to you. And this is obviously what 20. So this is 6 or 7 years old now at this point. But man, you're gonna get a kick out of the venomous back and forth that those two had. Was just
Like the
incredible.
SS Cappy, full guns blazing, going nuclear. It's like, oh,
Yeah, you
you
ain't seen nothing yet. I don't think he'd
know,
care if I not he wouldn't care if I shared this with you. So that's fine. He's not gonna read it
I'm
all.
gonna keep everything between us. I mean, every time Cappy sends me a photo or whatever, do not share. I'm like, Cappy, of course not. With who am I supposed to share this? Like, no, it's
Exactly. No, but you're gonna love that.
but like, how is she? Like, been dating for a year now. Like,
Yeah, how can I describe her? She's very giving. She's always really concerned about, how I'm feeling and like what I need because I have to travel to see her most of the time because I can work from anywhere with my job at this point and she can't. She has one of those in-person jobs. She's in the healthcare
Oh,
industry, so she's got to,
yeah.
be there, fortunately. But no, she's always very considerate of what I guess the best way I can describe it, and I was telling my parents this earlier because I still haven't met her. Um, she treats it more like a team, whereas some of the exes I've had, including the one you're about to become more acquainted with, it was always sort of like a, me versus you type thing. Like, what can I get out of this? Well, I made you dinner. You wash the dishes. Whereas with the current GF, she never demands it. I jump up and do it because I want to do it for her. It's not a tit for tat,
I mean,
you
that's
know?
the best position you want to be in.
Exactly. And
And
she's very pretty, and she knows
she's
about
good
most.
looking. She's good
I
looking.
I'm pretty attracted to her, and she knows about my quirks and, all kinds of things like that. She has some quirks of her own. They're not that bad. Jack, she goes to the gym with me, whether it's in Texas or in Chicago. She's all about going to the gym.
You know
Love
what? I'll make you a couple deal.
that.
I mean, this is maybe a quick rave rant here. I seen couples go to the gym together, and the guy does the exact same thing she does. It's like that is not how it works, people.
We don't work out together. We're at the gym together, but we don't
No,
work out together.
she does a couple of those home garden and kitchen exercises, and he
Yeah.
does the same thing. I'm like, God damn it! But oh well. Like women actually can get pretty toned, very
Yes.
very pretty toned with the proper schedule. A lot of guys don't know this. A lot of women don't either. But women respond best at like higher volume instead of higher intensity. Guys mostly respond better to higher intensity and lower
Mhm.
volume. But oh well.
Actually, Jack, I do have a really quick question, and then I may get to this article real quick. Then we can go back to, like, do you maybe it's a silly question. Do you do cardio, or are you mainly just focused on like diet and the lifting?
Do I do cardio? That is a bit of a yes and no thing.
I figured,
Because,
yeah.
well, I mean, a lot of guys want to go run, and I'm kind of like, are you a marathon runner?
Mm.
It's like, no, then don't. Like, yeah, the running joke between Paul from the Command Man podcast and I is that I absolutely hate and detest running. The thing is, I just don't see the real benefit of it if you're not a competitive runner or a marathon runner or whatever. However, it has been proven to have mental benefits. So I cannot deny that.
Hmm.
The longer duration of the effects of running on the joints, however, don't
Not so good.
really aren't really motivating either. And Mark Ripito from Starting Strength had a whole article on it on why running is unhealthy because of the joints and why you could just do why strength training would be a better option. And people would say, oh, what about the increased heart rate on cardio? And he's like, hey, you want to do a heavy sets of squats with 8 reps, let's see how your heart rate is then. It's not going to be low. So it kind of balances itself out. However, I am a bigger proponent of not living a sedentary lifestyle outside of lifting. Try to get 10,000 steps a day in.
That's
Just
5 miles for the Americans. 10,000
now,
steps is 5 miles. Yeah.
hold on. There we go. Put the phone on airplane mode because you're coming in vague. And that's
Okay.
probably on my end. My internet has been acting weird lately. I think I have to restart the router, then I'll be fine. But
Well, I'm at my parents. It could be theirs, but we still
you've been
good.
coming in clear the entire time, so don't
Okay.
worry. But just get those 10K steps in a day, and they can be low intensity but high duration. And the reason I advocate so much for low intensity but high duration when it comes to cardio is because, as we mentioned previously, it is sustainable.
Yes.
If you're going to ask somebody who's never ran before to run 10K steps a day, they're going to be exhausted the first time. They're going to hate it. They're going to be sweaty. They're going to be in pain. You don't want that. Now, if you're going to ask somebody who's lived a sedentary lifestyle, like, hey, instead of grabbing the car to the grocery store, depending how far it is, you could take a walk or maybe
Yes.
your bike. And then they get that low intensity but high duration cardio in. And then they're going to figure out, like, hey, it takes a bit of time, but I have enough time in the day to do this. And with that, they're going to create a more sustainable habit, which makes it easier to keep the weight they're losing off in the long run because you've created a new habit for them.
All about the habits.
Yeah. So, am I against cardio? Absolutely not. However, I will not recommend high intensity cardio. Like, unless it's a martial arts or whatever. It's kind of like, yeah, then you kind of want to have high intensity. But for most sanitary people, I would not recommend running. I would recommend walking over anything. I wouldn't even
Yeah.
recommend martial art for people who are overweight because
Well,
a lot of those classes do jumping jacks and push-ups and things like that. If you're overweight and you're not used to that, you're going to burn yourself out. So focus on the walking first, getting into the gym. Just start by 5x5. I've even had clients who like didn't have any experience with lifting or whatever, and that might be a cheap option, but strong lift 5x5 is just such a damn well built schedule that you could recommend it to everybody and they will not be able to fuck it up. But where my coaching comes in then is the form and the accountability and the diet, and indeed, like, can you get your sanitary lifestyle up a bit?
I think the accountability part's a little bit underrated, you know? If you have to
Mhm.
really check in and say, "I did this, I didn't do that." I've always felt like that was a big deal 'cause I lift with I my dentist is my personal trainer. I know that sounds weird, but I'm friends with him,
Oh, so
so
that's why. Okay, now I get it. Yeah.
yeah, and he's met Clary too, so
Oh dear. Oh dear.
I know. Jack, I'll read some quick super chats here just to get caught up, and then I'll talk about something for just a couple minutes. Then we'll get back to some of this fun talk because this is enlightening. Like the fitness is, I love talking about it because frankly, I have a lot to learn.
Mm,
So
so did I. So did I. Most of it is just experience and things like that.
Hatton Clogs 4334 for $20. So when I win the lottery, will you help me do my taxes? Also, say if you win 100 million cash out, you lose like 33%. Does the remainder get taxed for income tax? Cappy is going to have a hike gathering. Hi, European guy.
Hello, hats
Um,
and clogs.
so Jack, did you see in the media that we had a $1.2 billion Powerball recently that somebody won? It was actually in the Chicago area. Um,
I did actually. That was on the
yeah.
Dutch news even.
Did
It's
it
like,
make the
huh?
Dutch news?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
So
like,
I
that's
posted
government
this.
spending right there.
Oh, you're gonna love this part. I'm gonna pull it up real fast. I hate social media, but I actually put this on my Facebook page because I thought it was so ridiculous. So let's
I
say
can't even
somebody
remember.
wins. If somebody wins $1.28 billion, how much do you think just to take a wild guess after taxes and taking an annual payout instead of a lump sum, how much do you think this person actually got to keep after all of that?
So I know in the Netherlands that when you win the lottery, because parents of a friend of mine won the lottery once, 1 million, and they had to give up, I believe, 25% in taxes.
Well,
And and the rest was just theirs. The problem you get then is that you have what's the word? Not income, but like your collective, what you have. What's the word for that? Your
uh,
um
net worth, inflation.
Yeah, no, like your entire net worth tax. And I know
Oh,
that in the Netherlands, 80 grand is tax free, and everything
really?
above that is taxed, I believe, somewhere near 50% as well. No,
Oh,
wait,
50.
wait. No, we have scales. So everything above 80 grand becomes like 30%, 31 ish, till X amount, and then it becomes the 50% ish.
So you have a it sounds like you may have a wealth
Wealth
tax.
tax.
That's
Thank
what
you.
they're saying. Yeah, good call, Torgo 1001 and Xenophone 2006. Yeah. Yeah, wealth tax. Well, this person who won the lottery, it's the biggest Powerball we've had in years. It was 1.28 billion, but they only, only got 433.7 million, which is roughly about a third of what they won after taxes. And then because they took a lump sum, meaning they got it all at once instead of getting it annualized, they were greedy essentially. So they give you less. So I just thought it was crazy that they only got 33% of their winning after taxes, fees, and all the other stuff. I mean, to me, that was pretty crazy. So,
Like you're good. You can expect you won't bring everything of that amount home. It's
oh,
probably to be
absolutely.
expected, but like,
I would think it would be more like 60%. Yeah, you would expect to get at least 50 or 60% in America, but like 33%. It's still, he's not, 433 million is a hell of a lot of money, but still, that's a hell of a lot that taxes take. I was just kind of
yeah,
surprised
and
by that.
like this is why I messaged you. Like you're gonna love me when we go on. It's it's not that I mind taxes. In all honesty, like I've come back a bit on my libertarian stance where taxation is theft and blah blah blah. In all honesty, the way they do it now, yes, that is just pure and simple theft. That is
Yeah.
nothing more than a gun to the head. Give us your money, and we're
Yes.
gonna spend it the way we want. Now, the way to fix that is nothing more than a flat sales tax. You're going to pay tax on the products you consume. I will die on that hill. That is the best way to do it. I will also agree with we have this thing called road tax, where depending on the size and the usage, mileage, whatever of your vehicle, you're going to pay a certain amount of tax. I am willing to do that because I don't even have a car. Like fine.
Oh,
But this
I
whole
got some Dutch taxes. I got some things to talk to you about Dutch taxes, but
Oh man, we have the income tax, we have the wealth tax, we have the inheritance tax. Then we've got the tax on we call them accijns. So on alcohol, cigarettes, whatever, you're going to pay 20% tax on that. Then we have the gas tax. Then we have the energy tax. Then we have the gas tax. It's like Jesus fucking Christ. And what do they do with it? There was this article. I found it this morning, and here I go. Goddamn, you think Cappy can get angry? You just wait till you get a low of me. Like,
please.
what's the goddamn um what's the English word for that? Apologies. Oh yeah,
From the
here we go. Like this is headline news. Emancipation policy LGBTQA plus is behind. Government needs to government needs to run forward. It's like we are in 13th place in the EU of countries on the area of LGBTQ who's doing it right. It's like what more rights do you want? We have inflation up the wazoo. We've got a gas and energy bill that's like up our ass. And you're going to worry about who is fucking? Ah.
Jack, hold that thought about the gas and energy bill. That's what I was going to talk to you
It's
about.
like, oh
No,
no, because
your point stands. They're focusing on artificial issues that really aren't important. I'm sorry, they're not important because
they
from a
are not.
yeah,
If you're a
but
guy and you want to suck dick, go ahead. Just don't make me watch and don't make me pay for it.
I I agree. I
That's like,
don't think that the government should be getting involved in that stuff, but that's what they're doing in the US, and it sounds like they're doing it in Europe as well, at least in the Netherlands.
they have
Um,
rainbow crossings.
well, they've got
Like,
those over in our cities too.
why? Why do we have our township is flying the rainbow flag? Who the hell cares?
It's just for to score political points, or it's probably for social media clicks. I mean,
Like
that's what's been
they have
happening.
rainbow benches. I looked this up. You know how much one of those benches or crossings cost?
€1,000?
No. Oh, thank God, not even that.
Oh,
No, it's like 300 to 500 euros a piece.
well, that's
That's tax
expensive
money.
enough.
That's like $10 would have been expensive enough. It has no use. Did you know, by the way, the crossings, the rainbow crossings, take away the traffic rules?
Really?
Yeah. Because, like, in the traffic rules, it doesn't say, it says that a crossing is black and white. Like the white stripes, that is a crossing. As soon as they make a rainbow crossing out of it, you can just speed ahead. It's like, yep, it's the walker's fault, or what? Pedestrian. It's the pedestrian's fault.
Pedestrian.
Like, this is not an official crossing. So if you hit one of those motherfuckers with your car, you can go scot-free. Not actually. And this is being facetious. I'm not being serious. But, like, by law, it's like, yeah, it is the pedestrian's fault.
So in Chicago, a quick funny story. They were painting, same deal. They were painting the crosswalks and rainbows colors, and that was messing with traffic and everything. Literally, this ended up on Twitter. Literally on July. So June is the Pride Month in the United States. The LGBT Pride thing. Literally at midnight on July 1st, they were painting over it, like putting it back to the normal color.
Of
I just
course.
I was like, "Oh, that just kinda says it all right there."
Yeah, but I mean,
Um,
imagine being a Democrat and your entire base pandering to mental ill people. It's like that's how far that party has sunk. Like, our policy sucks so much, we have to pander to the mentally ill. And yes, I went there. Try and cancel me. Go ahead.
dude, I'm in leftist central here, and where I am is extremely left. It's very, this part of the country, so I hear you. Everything around here is just
Like, I used to not have a problem with it because I knew a girl who transitioned to becoming a man and things like that.
Mm.
She changed her name and everything. And when I was a bit younger, I was kind of like, well, if that's how you feel, sure. Like, through the years, the only girls I've met who wanted to transition into a man were fat, ugly chicks. So it's like, just because you're fat and ugly doesn't mean you're a man, I find this offensive. In all honesty, like, I'm just ugly and fat. I feel like a man. Young lady, no. It takes more to be a man than just be fat and ugly,
It's become a forefront issue in the US, and I'm not really sure why, because they represent such a small portion of voters. They're tiny, tiny, but it's really become like a hotbed thing. It's odd
Yeah,
to
but
me.
you know why? Because the um voter base that shows compassion is so large. They're not pandering to the actual demographic. They're pandering to the demographic who wants to pander.
Mm.
And I just figured this out, by the way, like on the spot, because, like, this has been socialism through the years.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, you want to care about the poor, right? Like, you want to help your fellow man out. Well, of course I do. Well, vote for us because we care about what you care about. And that's kind of it. And that's why you see most women vote for socialist policies, because I want to care about the little people. Meanwhile, they have no idea how the actual distribution of wealth goes. But it's just,
It's about the
I care about
feels.
I care about the poor people. And this is the discussion Cappy and I had. I don't know if you watched that.
I
But
did.
like, it's one of the best shows I ever did. In all honesty, like, this is not to disrespect Rob. Of course, I mean, every show with Rob is great. But
Of course.
because Cappy and I disagreed, which is why it was so good. In all honesty, because we both got our points across. It was an actual philosophical discussion. But as you will see with most girls, they just don't know better. And this is why I can't take any woman seriously politically. And I'm sorry if I'm being too blunt on your channel, by the way. Like, like just stop me when I'm going too far. And this is not absolutely not to shit on girls. Absolutely not. Like, I love you. I love all of you. However, you are the most easiest to pander to because you have the best intentions. And that is a very good thing. However, you are easily abused because of that mentally. And that's what you see politically. Where it's like, oh, but you
Yeah.
care about the LGBTQ people, right? You care about the children. Oh, the children, Chad. Think of the children.
Someone please think of the children. I mean, but women are the majority, at least in this country. And in the US they are. I don't know
Oh,
about
yeah.
in
And,
the
and guys are desperate. Guys are
yeah.
desperate. I have to vote left because otherwise my wife won't give it up. I mean, it's sad, but it's true.
Ugh,
Yeah.
man,
I mean, who spends the most money?
women.
Yeah. That is the target demographic for marketing. I mean,
Well, that's
stop
why in
watching. Hmm?
sports ball, at least in the US, they're trying to target, to they're trying to gain female fans, but what they're doing is they're alienating the diehards, the male fans. So to me, it's a flawed strategy.
Well,
Um,
is it though? Is it?
I I think it is because my opinion, just my opinion, most women actually don't really care about watching the sports ball game itself. They like the social element. They like being in a group that's watching the game. They don't care about what's happening with the game. They like the group. I'm sorry if I'm offending some of you women who do like the sports, but this is just what I've noticed when I've gone to bars to watch a sports ball game or, had gatherings and things like that. I don't
Mhm.
know if that's sustainable.
Well, you actually have a very good point. I didn't think of it like that. Because I was wondering that, or my argument would have been that, well, since the demographic of women is the demographic that spends the most, that they would be able to forego men and still make bank. However, you are right in that why are women there? That aspect of the equation is not being considered. And that's kind of what you see in comics right now. Because even though the target demographic is women because they spend the most, there is also a demographic in what they spend it on,
Right,
sort of say.
right.
And
Yeah,
that's where they kind of are dropping the ball. Like, even though women spend the most, they're not spending the most in comics or in sports ball or in
right,
movies, whatever. And
right.
that's where the whole go woke, go broke thing comes from. That even though, like, you can't, even though it would be obvious to jump the gun on that one, they kind of actually really did jump the gun and are now fucking up.
Yeah, I mean, I one of the mistakes I see them making. So, do you know that American football is like God, and it's the most popular sport, at least professionally. I don't really like it. I don't watch the professional. Believe it or not, I actually like the real football, soccer, but that's besides
Yes,
the point.
that is mostly because like football is rugby for you American Yanks, you uncivilized plebs, and football is actually played with your feet.
Yes, it's appropriately named. They should call it hand egg, in the American
Yeah.
sports. You see them carrying around this thing,
Yeah.
but they're trying so hard to pander to women to either spend money or get an audience that I really truly feel like it's costing them viewership and money because the males see them wearing pink. They wear pink on their uniforms during October because it's like for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. That's really starting to piss people off.
Yeah, I can imagine. I
Um,
mean, start wearing blue for like testicular cancer month. Oh wait, we don't have that.
right.
Or do we?
We don't.
November was supposed to be that, right? Like Movember.
The only thing we have is mustache Movember, but the media that no one cares about it and sports or
Yeah.
anything. I
And
mean,
that's mostly because men don't spend as much. Like, you know, that meme of men actually live like this and think it's okay.
oh, I've seen that. Yeah, I have actually.
Yeah,
Like the one
there's
better. Yeah.
there's multiple editions of it, but the message is the same. We are happy with less.
Yes.
We just are. Like where I live right now is nothing more than a single bedroom, and I have a bathroom across from this. Like I walk in the hallway and there's a bathroom and a
I
kitchen
have this
below.
I have the same thing where I
It's
live.
like we can be happy with less. All the single girls I meet who are like living on their own, large and big, it's like, what are you using this for? It's like, and again, this is not a bad thing. It's just a difference between to explain the situation of what's going on now, where it's like, yeah, women like to spend more and men don't. The problem is though, they because of that whole equality thing, they think women have the same interest as men do. They don't. They just don't.
Mm-mm.
And that's where all of this is going to happen. And it's sort of like, why is manga beating comics? Well, maybe because the female characters in manga are still big titted, nicely dressed, feminine characters. And they still kick ass. But they look attractive even though they're drawn. I mean, god damn it. Drawn characters are more attractive these days than your average woman. Great job.
That's the truth.
Good on you.
Mm.
Oh, well.
Jack, I have a question for you here. Actually, if you have any info on this one, this is from BFCZ8 Nap for $5. As the world starts to deglobalize, will it be easier to hide income from a place like Russia or Belarus? Do you have any knowledge about that? Because I kind of don't.
No, I live
Um,
under a bridge. I am a bum. I have no wealth. I
well,
I I I get my Legos from charity.
yeah, we'll set up a Patreon for Jack's Legos.
A
That's it.
GoFundMe.
The only not I guess Russia is starting to sort of decouple from the American economy for obvious reasons. So I want to say that Russia maybe could hide money in there, but that's kind of outside of my knowledge sphere. So
There's this thing called crypto, I believe. I don't know much about it, but I've heard
it's
it's pretty decentralized.
a big part of my world and the tax. Believe me, it's a
Mhm.
controversial subject. Alex for $5. Too late or early in the morning to live stream? Well, luckily it's a bit of both for Jack and I. Although I guess
Mhm.
it's not too early for Jack right now.
9:18 a.m.
Atham, I can't even see the super sticker for $5. I think it's a Mexican poop. Hopefully, uh, we'll have to check that out later. See what else we got. Yeah, I wanted to zip through these real quick.
Yeah.
Jack Whittier. 9.99. How much experience do I need working for someone else after getting an EA to start my own business doing people's taxes?
Okay,
Jackson.
that's a
Oh,
question for you, so I'm going to go to the toilet real quick.
okay. Go ahead. Um, Jackson, the thing with that, there's such a shortage for tax preparers right now with the boomers retiring and like the undergrads aren't really doing it. They're not going into it because they heard it's stressful because it has been stressful the last few years with all the changes. Um, Giving it to you straight here, like if you advertise yourself as a tax preparer and you get a couple of good reviews on Yelp or Google and you have your own practice, people are just going to naturally inquire about your availability to work on their taxes. Um, so you'll get clients. That won't be a problem. Now, how much experience do you need working for someone else to gain the skill set? All you need is one busy season or two, one busy season minimum, and then you can do an extra one if you want a little bit more seasoning. Beyond that, you could be up and running in a year or less, and it's not going to be hard for you to get clients. You guys, I've been getting a lot of questions lately from people, email questions that are like, should I start my own practice? How risky is it? Guys, there's a desperate need for tax preparers right now. I encourage everybody who really wants to do this. If you don't want to do it, you're going to hate it. But if you do want to do it, you should start your own practice because you'll be built up very, very quickly. I'll send you referrals. I get about 3 or 4 new client requests every day. And this is the slowest time of the year. I don't have space for them. So I go for it, man. Get under an EA or a CPA, do it for a busy season. Like I said in a previous show, you can do it with H&R Block. As crappy as they are, they do have a training program. You'll gain your experience and then you're golden. So, lost my place. Atham, thanks for taking out the trash on that. I guess there was a spammer down there. Where's the next one? That might have been Rusty Fuel for $4.99. Yeah, but you ride bikes everywhere. That is true. And not Jack. Do you have a bike?
Yes.
Do you ride it everywhere?
No, not everywhere. I usually just walk.
Just walk. Yeah, I figured. Dre, you got to stop doing this for $2. Congrats to Chad and wife. As Jack invited to the wedding, there's no engagement, there's no wedding. He keeps doing this. We're not there yet. We only met for the first time a year ago. Actually, a year ago Sunday, we met for the first time. So no need to rush into anything. Rusty Fuel for $1.99. Bikes help keep the fat down in the Netherlands. Are there a lot of fat women there, Jack, or is it?
The average woman in the Netherlands is 10 centimeters shorter than I am, yet just as heavy.
Really?
So, yeah. I mean, if they're thin, like we have some very good-looking women. We really do. But they are not the majority.
That's kind of disappointing.
It is. But I mean, yeah, and this is something I told Rob as well, and even Cappy. Like, I have put a lot of effort into my health and the body and blah, 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 blah. I got the braces, things like that. I'm not going to settle all of a sudden for less.
Nor should you.
Like, she doesn't have to be jacked or anything, but at least get my dick hard. It's like, if you can't even do that, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, some female validation. It's like, no, I put all this effort into being me, and I like doing it and things like that. And then all of a sudden you expect me to settle for a woman who's the same weight as I am, yet 10 centimeters shorter. That's not going to happen. So the whole don't care got laid thing ends at a certain point.
I think that's where, I don't want to speak for Rare, but I think Rob is a little more.
No, he's a bit more. He doesn't care that much about it.
Just a quick funny thing. My mom just earlier tonight. Do you know the show Jeopardy? Have you heard of that? They have it in.
Oh, with like, is that the parody one with Will Ferrell, or is there an actual? Oh yeah, there is an actual Jeopardy.
There's
yeah,
an
I've heard about
actual
it.
show. It's basically a trivia show, and there was this hostess. It was this former actor. Her name was Mayim Bialk or whatever. She was a childhood actor, and she's quite physically unappealing. Like, she does not look any. She's overweight, not pretty, and just on an offhand comment, we were watching it, my parents, and I said that I'm like, I don't find her at all attractive. Like, she's just disgusting to me. My mom goes, well, Chad, she has a PhD, and I'm like, Mom, how is that supposed to improve her physical attractiveness? So, yeah, I think there's still a misconception that education can make up for physical unattractiveness.
Oh no, a PhD won't make you look better in a bikini. I'm like,
It-
credit to Rolo for that one. He said it years
Right.
ago, and that's just a remark that stuck with me because it's so true.
It's quite
But-
true.
But that's where I kind of pity women. I really do. Like, I feel for them because they genuinely believe, or they have been told to believe. Let's be honest here. Like, no woman actually from the womb thinks, oh, you know what? My intellect is what men care about. No, it is not.
They've been lied to.
They have been lied to so much for, like, well, you can do what a man does and make a career and blah, 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 and forego your children. I mean, that's the most disgusting part of all, where women have actually been made to believe, like, give up your kids to daycare so you can make a career.
Mm-mm.
And they actually think men even give the slightest of care to her PhD or whatever. I would rather date a broke hairdresser than a fucking lawyer. I really do. When it comes to career, I do not give a shit. First of all, hairdressing is something you actually can use in your daily life. It's like, honey, I don't feel like making an appointment. Cut my hair a bit, if you please. And it's like, hey, you know what? So-and-so kids need to get their hair cut. Hey, honey, you have this skill. Maybe you should do it. Hey, you know what? Maybe I can make a business out of this. Boom, boom, boom. Done. I'm a lawyer. I can be make 6 figs and go to the office and work 80 hours a week. You want to deal with that shit? No. That is not something men care about. Till some guys, of course, will say they do. No. When it comes to women and dating, we care about the company and the looks. Of course, yes, the looks, but mostly the company, the conversation, things like that. Not your fucking PhD.
Right. No, dude, I agree. I agree. I can't. Like,
God. Oh, this anger.
Man,
I'll take something out of you. How does Clary do it? Staying angry 24/7.
I don't know how he does it, but you know, we thought he was mellowing out for a while, but we'll see about that. Alex, a couple more super chats, then we'll move on. Alex for $5. What about the death tax? Yes, there is an inheritance tax that the United States has. It's really insidious. I advise people, instead of giving all your money to the government, just spend it all before you die, because the government doesn't deserve any of it.
There are tax legal ways to do it. Like, this is something my grandmother did. We had an inheritance, and she just spread it over years, where it's like, I can give this to my grandchildren tax-free, and she just did that. And then then she was like broke when she died.
Which is the best. Honestly, that's the smart way to do it. That's how I tell. I don't have a lot of older clients, but that's what I tell them to do, because yeah.
It's just, but those are one of those things where I just think it's theft. Like, brutal and honest theft. I had a coworker who tried to defend it. I just went off on it. He's like, oh, but you didn't earn that money. No, motherfucker. My parents did, and they can do with it whatever they want. Because it's theirs. They paid income tax on it. Now, if they want to give it to their kids, yeah, but you didn't work for it. I didn't have to. I had to behave well enough and actually care about them. And they actually had to care about me, which might surprise you. Not all parents care about their fucking kids, for me to inherit that. It's their choice what they do with their already taxed money. And he was like, yeah, but if you're one of those what you call it, Dan Bilzerian, Cappy hates them too, those trust fund babies.
Oh, look, right, yeah, the trust of
they're going to be miserable anyway, so I don't care. But it's not government's position to say, oh, we're going to tax that as well, because we're of the opinion it's not your right. Look, if somebody else's parents fuck up and don't have an inheritance but only have debt, that's not my fucking problem.
Agreed.
So, yeah.
Just do this last one real quick. Alex Pino for $5. I have come to believe that everyone who is on public assistance should not be able to vote, like welfare recipients. I mean, I would take that a step further and say, if you are not a tax positive contributor to society, I don't know if you should be able to vote, because if you're just taking, you can vote yourself more and more money every year.
That is something actually that Watson said as well. Only ours was a bit milder, where it's like, okay, you can vote when you have a job. It's like, you can vote when you have a job. And let's say you haven't worked in the last 2 to 3 years, then you lose your privilege. It's what it is to vote. I kind of hate the word privilege. It's always given me this nasty aftertaste.
I don't like that word either.
But it has been so misused Because in all honesty, like, you have a right to go to college. No, you have the privilege to go to college. Because that's what it is.
It
It's not a
is.
right. You have the privilege to have housing. Call it as it is. Not a right, the privilege. And I know they kind of defile the word as lefties tend to do because they're sophists. Defile words, misuse them. So he's like, it's white privilege. Bitch, I'm not getting shit because of my skin color. I'm not. And if so, you can have a conversation one-on-one with my mom because she didn't get the fucking memo back then. It's like, I had a girl tell me this shit. It's like, yeah, but because you're a straight white male. And I looked at her like straight in the eye. I'm like, you should talk to my mom because she did not get that memo. It's like, what do you mean? Oh, by the way, she's dead, so you won't be able to talk to her anymore. But still, it's like, just because I'm white and a man doesn't mean it was easy, you know? It's like, fuck off in your bullshit. But again, pity is the only thing you can have. Pity, because the only reason they say it, it's not because they believe it, but they have been told by some useless professor or whatever. And they regurgitate it. They think it's the truth. But like I said, they don't know any better. So I can't even be angry about it.
Well, you and Rare were better than I am with this because back when I was dating, what, a year and a half ago, or trying to date, like the second somebody said that, I couldn't just laugh it off and be like, well, whatever. I just like I can't be around someone who just says shit like that. So I would step on my own dick and be like, ugh, I just can't.
I've been there. However, and I had the same conversation with Cappy. Because he was the same. He's like, no, that is intellectual dishonesty. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, you are not incorrect. However, how did they get to this conclusion? Because in my experience, my humble and low experience that I have with women, it's most of them are left because they don't know any better.
They really don't. Yeah. I mean, they were
And
taught, they were lied to.
yeah, same as men. I mean, I used to believe I had to buy flowers before I got sex. Now it's just I show up. Holy shit. It's like I unbuttoned this thing a bit. It's like, holy hell, who's that guy? Like, oh shit. But we've all been lied to. We all have. And not to get conspiratorial on everybody.
That's a fair comment. We've all been lied to.
But like, I have men regurgitating lies to me. I'm not gonna get angry with them. Like, this is why you have intellectual socialists. And I'm not saying that by default every socialist is wrong. They're not. I am indeed an advocate for like a social safety net because you have to deal with people with illness, low IQ, whatever. I think it is a very human, noble thing to have a certain social net. Not to the extent we have now, because that's utter complete bullshit, but to a certain extent, yes. However, how many intellectual socialists do you know where you're kind of like, holy shit, you have an IQ of 180 or whatever, and you still think the distribution of wealth should be done to that level? Like, you still believe in money printer go burr and no inflation? It's like, but the only reason they believe that is because they don't know. They've never heard the contradiction opinion. I was dating a very, very leftist girl this past summer. And of course, at a certain point, she was kind of slipping certain beliefs. And I was just kind of like, you just don't know any better. But instead of like barfing out my own opinion, I just laughed at it. And she's like, oh, what's your opinion on that? I'm like, honey, you really want to know? And then I just asked her questions. Like, okay, if you believe that is true, would it be the case that X, Y, and Z? She's like, maybe. Yeah, kind of true. And if that is truth, sorry, TH.
I was going to say.
Yeah, wouldn't it be that X, Y, and Z is also true? She's like, yes. And wouldn't it be the case that X, Y, and Z that I just told you about is in fact not true? She's like, yes. Therefore, wouldn't it be the case that the whole premise that you just mentioned to me is kind of based on a falsehood. And then you see the wheels going. It's like, huh, I actually never thought of it like that. I didn't even have to tell her my opinion. Just ask questions and have a bit of fun with it. Now, this could be my personality that I like conversations and don't feel that need. Okay, every now and then somebody is so blatantly wrong that I really want to put them through a drywall. Those moments do happen. But in general, I'm kind of like, here you have this 5'6" chick or whatever, like 20 kilos lighter or whatever she is, regurgitating some stupid shit. Like, I'm not gonna get angry at that. Pat on the head, that's cute. And then if she's interested, she's gonna ask me something. But I just expect the bar to be that low on a conviction level that I just stop talking about politics or whatever. There are no, or there used to be, there used to be no politics in Lego or games or whatever. It's like, I still think this is weird where guys are like, oh, you have that as a hobby? That's unattractive. Is it though? Is it? Like, do I really care? No.
You shouldn't.
Oh, but what if she cares? She is irrelevant. That is not why she is not here to grade. What's the word I'm looking for? She is not here to. I want to say grade, but that's not the word I'm looking for.
She's not here to stimulate an intellectual discussion.
No, I mean she's not here to rate my hobby, sort of say. That's not what she's here.
Yeah,
she's not here to say if my hobbies are cool or not. That is totally out of the equation. And even if she doesn't think they're cool, there is no us. I think your hobbies are stupid. Honey, I think you're stupid, and there's the door.
There's the door.
And 9 times out of 10, all of a sudden she's like, but I think you're cool. I know, babe. It's that simple. It's like, by God, people.
Jack, this is not a sexy topic, but I gotta keep an accounting motif for this, at least for a few minutes. So
I know.
I
I'm
gotta bring
sorry.
it up. It's not fun. No. Trust me, what you're talking about is way more, way more interesting. But I'll just plow through this, okay? I read this article, and the title is "Energy Prices in the Netherlands Are Much Higher Than in the Rest of Europe." I'll tell you what it said, but
Go ahead.
let me ask you this. Why do you suppose well, first let me give you some numbers. You pay 2.25 euros per cubic meter of gas. Your gas is the problem. Okay. The only country that pays more than that is Sweden at 2.31 per cubic meter euros. Why do you think that is? And does it piss you off or do you care?
It doesn't really piss me off. Well, the thing is, this is one of those things that we pay tax for ideology, in all honesty. I mean, let's be honest here. It's all because of climate. Like, we need to save the climate, blah, blah, blah. And we have this like climate pope in the European Union who is called Frans Timmermans.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, could you mod me in your chat?
Oh, I can. I don't know if I can do it like right this second, but I will.
No, that's okay. But where was I? Frans Timmermans, and he is some fucking reject of the European Union who was declined a certain position as president of the European Union. Now he's kind of bitter about that, as my dad likes to say. Like, that man is not to be trusted because he's like vain and bitter. Not bitter, but like a different word. He's like, he holds a grudge. But he is so up in the ass of climate. Like, climate is his religion. We need to save the planet. Even though since like the 1960s, Everything that ever came out. Stefan Molyneux had a great bit on that a while ago. Like, he went through all the news articles since the 1960s and how fear-mongering all of that climate bullshit is. And by now, we should have died already, and San Francisco should have been wiped off the map. The Netherlands should have been drifted back into the ocean, which, in all honesty, like, as the state of the Netherlands now, go ahead, like, push it back. We'll restart. But because of that, they want to tax everything that has the effect of carbon or emissions or whatever. Like, everything that has the effect of being damaging to the climate gets an extra tax. Frans Timmermans look at sinister Burl Ives. I don't know who Burl Ives is, but yeah, that man does look sinister.
Googling him now.
But the thing is, even like right now, there's this whole debate on lowering the gas prices. First of all, we have a huge, one of the biggest gas storages in Europe, in the north of the Netherlands, in Groningen. The problem is when we start tapping into that source, there's going to be like earthquake. There's going to be earthquakes. The risk of earthquakes becomes higher. Now, there's already been a couple of earthquakes that have ruined houses there. Those are people who lived there for generations, and their family home kind of got damaged because of the earthquakes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in all honesty, yes, I do get you have an emotional attachment, but instead of like taxing us up the ass with like carbon emissions and things like that, because of carbon emissions and bullshit like that, just pay the people. In all honesty, just give them their due, pay the damages of the housing, and make sure these people can live somewhere else. Yes, that's going to cost a lot, but in all honesty, we don't need fancy furniture in tax offices. Because I found that out later as well, that the interior for most government workspaces is all tax funded.
Oh,
The fuck, people. The fuck. That could have been used to cover housing for the people in Groningen who could have moved so we could pump more gas. Nope, not going to happen. We're just going to quit doing that and we're going to get gas from Russia. Oh, wait, Russia is invading Ukraine. Oh, we're sorry, people. Because of that, gas prices are now higher. Oh, gee, I wonder what we could do to reduce gas prices. Gee, they could have cut the tax off the gas easily. They're not doing it. I wonder why. I wonder why they're not doing it.
37% of your gas price of what you're paying for gas is taxes. That is so much higher than pretty much everybody else.
Yeah, and that's all because of the name, all in the name of the environment.
Yeah.
All in the name of the environment. Because otherwise we're going to die. I mean, first of all, how is higher taxes going to help the environment? Please help me with that.
It's not.
I
think they're going to disincentivize people, but it's just not going to change behavior.
Well, maybe people don't want to freeze to fucking death.
Right.
It's like, it's just, it is so, it's so crooked. The whole thinking manner is so crooked. Then, and this is why I don't vote anymore in the Netherlands either, by the way, because the right in the Netherlands is just as stupid. Like, they're morons. Because as soon as COVID hit, the advice from the government, they needed the government for this. The advice was work from home. It's like, okay, sure. I don't know why we need a nanny state to tell us that, because the technology has been there for years, but okay. Everybody started working from home. Carbon emission from traffic dropped nearly half or even over half because the traffic was reduced. All of a sudden, COVID kind of went down a bit. Oh, you can go back to the office now. It's like, mother, what? You have this great solution to your biggest issue, and you're not going to take it? Tell me again that you're so concerned with climate. Because if you really were, that would have been the go-to. It's like, we're going to reduce traffic. One of the biggest indicators or instigators of climate change, quote unquote, climate change. No party, none, left, right, center, none of them proposed to make work from home the norm. None of them. You can get the biggest strike of reducing carbon emission in one fell swoop. And I'm not even like big on climate, whatever. I really don't give a fuck. Let it all burn. I'm not going to buy an electric car or whatever. But none of the parties were like that. It's either the extreme of climate change doesn't exist, or the extreme of, oh, we need to reduce everything and the meat is bad and the farming and the whatever. But nobody comes to meet in the middle and is like, you know what? This whole traffic thing, we almost solved it. You know what? Let's make it the norm because of the sheeple. You need to tell them what to do. And people in and of themselves aren't going to say, I'm going to work from home right now because they don't have the balls. No, we need to tell them. You know what? Let's just tell them. Oh, but the boomers need to see me that I'm working. We're just going to tell the boomers to fuck off because they only have like 4 or 5 years to work. We're not going to care. Nope. It's like all of these problems the Netherlands has right now can be so easily fixed. And thank you, Advanced Apathy. Harrison Ford is not a very... Harrison Ford is not an ugly man. But it's like, it can be fixed so fucking easily. And they're not... Nope. And this just tells me that politicians in the Netherlands don't want to help you. They just want to help themselves. They just want to help themselves. Even me, with my low IQ brain, can fix most of the Netherlands problems within a day. And I'm not even that smart. But no. The LGBTQ community is like, people are going to freeze their fucking ass off in winter. I guarantee it. We had news articles in, when was it? It's August now. In May, of people not being able to get to month's end because of the energy bill. And we're not even in winter yet. That's going to get bad. But hey, because of the climate and we refuse to tell people to work from home, it's only going to get worse. But you know what? Fuck these people. Fuck them all. I'm just going to make sure that I have everything fixed on my end. They voted for this crap. Now suffer. Because if people still believe in politics in the Netherlands, I don't know what to tell you. You know what? She didn't cheat on him. That's what I'll tell him. You know what? No, she still loves you. She's not texting somebody else.
See, this is why I'm really glad I found that article. I knew you would have some passionate opinions about this. So.
I know. I have been avoiding the news because it's not helpful. In all honesty, the news is just not helpful because we already know what direction it's taking. Look, no politician cares about you. They care about themselves. So I started apply some female solipsism. I need to survive. That's what I'm going to do. Look, of course, I want to know the tax rules here and there, which can come in handy. But sure, I got things fixed in my end. And for all people know, I am just some boring bum who has a low IQ or whatever. I am not shit. Like, boom.
You are not boring, and I'm really glad that you were able to give us your opinion on this. This is exactly what I wanted, like out of the article. So.
He just wanted to get me angry. Like, I'm leaving very soon. Buy 12 cartons of smokes. It's like, God damn it!
Well, we don't want that. We don't want that.
No, I know.
Jack, I need to use the restroom. Say goodnight to my dad, and then I'll be right back. So
yeah, cool.
Yeah, keep ranting if you'd like.
Oh yeah, I'm glad I'm finally lowering the heart rate a bit. But yeah, go ahead. Saver booty, pity the fool that doesn't wrap his tool. Huh, that's a good one. Wrap it up. Wrap it up. The hardest pill for most people to swallow. Rights don't exist. Yeah, exactly, Dre. It's like, look, you have the right to live. That is a right. You have a right to exist. You were born into this world. You can live. And with that, it's kind of like you have the freedom to get access to things because goods and services depend on somebody else. And I don't think, I am of the opinion, that you cannot obligate somebody to give up their services just because you exist. Like, I exist as well. So, yeah, that doesn't give me the right to embark. Is embark the word? I don't think embark is the word. Intrude. Yes, to intrude on your life and demand your services or goods. Like, housing is a right. No, because housing is a good. It needs to be built, and it needs tradesmanship to be built. You are dependent on others of that good. But what if government? Yeah, there we go. What if government owns housing? Yeah, government still needs to rely on people who build those houses. Although, and this is quite interesting, I heard from a construction worker a while ago, they're automating houses right now. They're automating houses, weirdly enough. Like the walls have become like life-size Legos. Not like blocks, like entire walls are now made in factories where they can just show up with the truck of all the walls and they just 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. There you got it. And then, of course, you need some tradesmanship for the... Can somebody block that, by the way? The Atham, thank you. Of course, you need some manpower for the rest. What is this? Oh, that's not good. That is not good at all. I'll check that later. Maybe something else is going on. Hold up. Hold up. Wait a minute. What is going on around here? Ooh, that's hot. That is really, really hot. Whoa.
Okay, what did I miss?
Not much. I all of a sudden found out that my laptop isn't charging, and I'm kind of like, hey, I wonder what's going on there. But maybe it's the cable. I don't know. And we blocked one of those weird things in the chat.
Yeah, there was like a spammer or somebody in there. Atham?
Yeah, fix it.
Love chat, adult site. Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, I get those spammers every now and then as well. It's like,
yeah,
piss
Jack,
off.
this Franz Timmermans guy, I found a picture, like I Google imaged him. Oh my God, yeah, he looks crazy. He looks like Rob Reiner. That's this American director who's equally as insane when it comes to climate change. So interesting.
It's like that's the new thing, the new ideology. Everything because of climate change. It's like, yeah, when the polar caps supposed to be non-existent already, or whatever. I mean, An
Yeah.
Inconvenient Truth came out 10 years ago or something. And I remember my high school making it mandatory for some classes to go and watch. It's like, and none of that came to fruition. Just none of it.
Never does.
Nah, it's bullshit. It's
I don't
pure and
know what
utter
it,
bull.
I think I read that this is happening. I think I read that this is happening in Europe. It's certainly happening in the US. There's this major heat wave for the last couple of months this summer.
Yeah,
Is that happening there too?
yeah, it did happen, but it's already gone.
Hmm.
And funnily enough, like we've had this before, and then not much came of it. But all of a sudden this year, during like the weather, when they announced the weather, everything was red, as if danger. No, but those are like those small psyop things where they like induce fear into the people. It's like, oh, it's gonna be warm. Oh, be careful.
God,
Oh no,
I'm
hot weather.
convinced. I mean, the trust in the media here, like nobody trusts. Yeah, they do things like that. They're just trying to exert fear, conflict, and everything. No one's really giving a shit anymore, from what I can tell.
I am so happy that's happening. Like the internet is like the printing press of our time.
Yes, it is.
Because say whatever you want, people are smarter than you give them credit for. I mean, they needed an entire education system to indoctrinate people, $1 trillion industry to get people off their common sense. But now with the internet and the algorithm and things like that, people are slowly but surely getting introduced to different perspectives. I'm not saying that all of a sudden within 5 years we're back to a booming economy and everything is well and everybody's happy and marriages is on the table again, but there is a small shift that's occurring. More and more people are finding out that the media is disingenuous and just trying to invoke fear in people. But oh well, who knows? It's a good change to see.
It is. And you know what, man? I think that is a good positive note that we can leave things on. It is
I
past 1. It's about 1 a.m. here. Better start to wrap this up.
Mhm.
Jack, what would you like to hawk, if anything?
Um, I'll just give you the link to my YouTube channel. If you can put that in the chat, that would be
Sure.
nice. I hope this was an enjoyable cast for people. I ran my mouth every
Oh,
now
this
and
was
then a bit.
fantastic. I'm thrilled with you know, I just getting your channel here. I'm not the type where I have this agenda that I want to go over this, and this. I've got some accounting things I want to talk about, some tax stuff, but I would prefer to let my guests do the talking. So, Jack, you performed exactly how I was hoping you would perform.
I'm glad I could oblige.
And trust me, that's never a problem with Clary. He always has plenty to say.
Oh yeah,
So,
and that's the fun part because Cappy and I both do, and it's just like
yeah, I really did enjoy. Let's see, today was Tuesday. Monday, yesterday, I listened to the one that you and Clary did, and I went for a run while I was listening to that, and that was pretty enjoyable. So,
mhm. Yeah.
well,
I was able
listen,
to
Jack,
shut him up a couple of times.
you were, and that's why I was more like, because I can never do that. As much as I try, I can, unless we're doing his taxes, then I get to be the alpha, so to speak, and make his ass shut up. But limited situation. But
Situation at Alpha. I mean,
oh,
you and those cam girls, man. It's like, oh my god, he's my tax
you know what?
accountant.
We got a super chat and I'll read that, but like next Tuesday I'm actually going to have a cam girl on the show. It's my client. It's going to be her and I. And so this is you guys' opportunity if you really want to know what it's like to be a cam girl. This is a little risky because I need to you guys got to keep it classy here. YouTube could throw me off and I don't want to offend her. But yeah, I'm having my cam girl client, one of them, on my show next Tuesday. So,
Nice.
yeah, I'm going to display this one real quick. Show it. Kava-chan Commando for $10. Hey, Chad, I really enjoy the live streams. Currently watching this while working security. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you very much, dude. Glad to see you're working that security shift where you can get other stuff done and get entertained too. So
Another one of Cappy's greatest advices.
that was
Just
pretty good advice, I gotta
but,
admit.
but it's just get a part-time job. It's like it's not that hard.
Jack, where can people I'm supposed to put your show. Oh, I did put the
Yeah.
show. So this is where you can find Jack's channel. He's got an awesome he does regular streams, and he's got his Red Evening. It's every Friday. It might not be the Friday when he's in the US, but maybe, you might do that with Rare. Um but that's where you can find Jack. Let's see. I don't have anything in particular to hawk. Just like, share, and subscribe, as they say. And Jack, any final words?
Just get to my channel if you want some fitness advice and some good old-fashioned banter just between two men on Red Evening. And tomorrow I'm going to have Ryan Stone on. So that's going to be fun as well.
Wait a minute. Your birthday was yesterday, Jack?
August 1st, yes.
Oh my goodness, dude. Happy belated birthday. What are you,
Thank
23
you.
now, or
12, something like that. I can still pass for 18, I hope.
I don't know your true age, but I would bet you're looking younger for it, you know.
Most people guess me a lot younger, but I'm actually 32.
Are you 32? I wouldn't
I'm
have thought
32.
32. I would
I
have
know, a
thought
lot of
probably
people.
about 29 or 30. Yeah.
Weirdly enough, most guys guess younger and most women guess older for some odd reason. Most guys go for 24, 25. Most women go for like 27, 28. It's like, I wonder
No
why.
kidding.
Maybe it's that weird thing that women find older men attractive, so they guess older. It's like, oh, he's attractive, so I must be older. I don't know.
I mean, the only reason that I said 30 was because you had commented, that like us guys in our 30s, looking at Lego, but I don't think I would have gone that high if you hadn't said that. So
Cappy, I think that's why Cappy always likes to make the joke because that I'm the teenage podcaster or whatever. All these people with happy
Well,
birthday. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
six-pack abs. Yeah, Jack, this is I really appreciate you coming on, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to hearing about, if you don't do a show, which I don't think you should do, but I'm really looking forward to hearing about your trip to the US. That's going to be amazing.
I'm looking forward to it, well, especially like the places we're gonna go, because I'm not some guy who's like, oh, okay, we're gonna sit in the bar the entire time. Like, I'm not much of a going out type, but like that Rocky statue and things like that. That's what I want to see. Like some national parks, maybe, or whatever. Just actually visit things. But we'll see. I don't know what Vince has got planned for all of us. Who knows? There's going to be a lot.
I
Like he was mentioning Old Town or something. Old Town Philadelphia. Who knows?
I've actually, yeah, I'll tell you this, Jack. I've been to Philadelphia a couple of times, and I've had fun every time I've gone there. Like, I've never met Vince and Rare. Obviously, I haven't met them in person, but from what I know about them, you're in good hands, and you're gonna have such a good time. And I'm really excited for you. That's really cool.
Same here. Thanks, Chad.
All right, you guys. We will catch you next Tuesday, and as I always say at the end of these things, we should hang out soon.